Hello, let's get started. I'm Julie Torrens, and we're going to be working in my acrylic little art journal. So I grabbed 3 colors, red, blue, and yellow. And the real names of these I'll give you in just a sec. We're going to start out with some blue, and this is an ultramarine blue. And I picked these 3 because I thought, if you got yourself a little starter set of acrylics, and these are Liquitex, it doesn't matter what the brand, maybe you have some Liquitex basics, it doesn't matter. Any set usually has the 3 primaries at least, and then a black and a white. So we're going to start out, and I've got the ultramarine blue, I've got the cadmium yellow medium, and then I'm going to just give some white and some black. I'll maybe put them over here because you can paint with just these colors, and that's what we're going to do. So I've got some, I didn't put the red out yet, but I've just got some little paint brushes, my acrylic paint brushes. I've got 2 sources of water. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is get some green, and we're just going to have like a meadow, all green, no sky. We're just going to have meadow grass. So I want to start with a lighter green and move my way to a little bit darker green. So to mix green, I'm going to take just a little bit of blue and a lot more yellow. That's not a lot more. Let's try again. And get a lighter shade of green. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to add to this just a dab of white. Okay. Now, not all yellows and not all greens are created equal. So you may have a lemon yellow, or you may have another kind of yellow, and it's all fine, whatever you have. And now I'm going to start right at the top, and I just have some paper because I'm not so worried about the color transferring as much as I really don't want to have the book get glued together by the acrylic. So, and this is not totally homogenized. I don't care. I know when I started this book, I was seeing if I could replicate, or that's kind of a too exact of a word, but I was seeing if I could do some acrylic painting like I saw that was a class that was advertised. And so if you go back a few, you'll see a video that I made that says something like, can I paint like this class that's being advertised? I had only looked at the advertisement. I did not take the class. I don't know the artist other than what I just read about her afterwards, but now I'm just working my way through my acrylic little journal. Okay, there's our first little row. Now I'm just going to add a little more of the blue to this and come up. That's quite dark, so let's mix all of it in there. And we're going to come up with another shade. So we're using that same thing that I have talked about before, where you want to have a limited palette no matter what. I think it can make your overall painting look just a little bit more cohesive than when you're, but there's always exceptions. If you're doing a rainbow bright painting, you just get all those rainbow colors and you have at it. But just for, these beginning acrylic painting, I'm trying to limit the palette because I'm believing that a lot of people have a limited palette, but it sincerely does make a nice difference when you limit your palette and just mix from that palette for the overall painting and for it to be cohesive. So I'm just going in random. I don't have a specific plan in mind, but just creating this meadow with some little highs and lows all in it. I'm just going to clean up this edge where it meets the other color. And you could use a bigger brush than I'm using. That would be fine. Again, I'm trying not to use too many tools and too many things. Okay, so we've got a little spot there. So I'm going to use pretty much just yellow. I'm going to dip into this a little bit, but then I'm just going to fill in this spot with whatever color this turns out to be. And maybe it's just a continuation of what I started. And since I added more yellow, well, maybe the yellow is where the sun is just hitting that particular spot a little more. I don't know. Okay. And I'm going to now fill in this one. So I'm going to pick up all this that I have. I'm going to finish up the yellow here. And I'm going to add a touch more blue. Blue is strong. A little more. Too much. Just keep adding it in. Okay, that's good. And let's bring this little mound or hill or butte or I don't know, whatever this is. And we'll just add it in here. I realize that now my paper plate, that's what I'm using as a palette, and I just use paper plates, and I like them to have a white center because then it doesn't interfere with the colors that I'm mixing. I can see clearer what color I've got going on. And I'm just going to bring this now. I'm just scooping up whatever I've got started here and bringing it across. And I'm gonna bring this down here. I'm just making like waves of different little hills of this meadow. So how are you? Are you enjoying the autumn? We've got a lot more color. We're certainly not peak color, as they call it. We're not there yet, but it is a very nice color starting. It's pretty. It's starting to get pretty. I like this time of year. I like the seasons changing. I lived in Arizona for 20 years where we didn't have seasons. I lived in the southern part of the state, and it was great, but I do enjoy the seasons. I would be lying if I didn't admit that. Okay, now I'm not seeing too much definition between these two, but that's okay. It's enough. All right, I'm going to add some more of this yellow, and I'm going to put it right in the green mix. And I'm going to add some of this blue, quite a bit of it. And let's see what we get. And then I think I'm going to change brushes. I'll get started with whatever I have here. But now we're going to get a little bit bigger. Maybe whatever I have on my brush, I'll just fill this in. It's definitely a different color than what I started on the hill beside it. I do have a coat of gesso on this because it's a cream color underneath, and I wanted the white, and I didn't want my acrylics to just sink right in. For one thing, it makes it dry awfully fast when that happens. And gesso's cheaper than the acrylics. I'm just trying to clean up this line here. And there. Yeah, I'm getting the vibe of kind of a field going on here. And get some more. I'm overlapping. Here's the seam of my journal. Yeah. All right, let's empty this brush out of the paint. And let that sit in the drink for a minute. Now I'm going in for the big guy here. I bet you're thinking, yay, getting something done here. But you know, the farther away, the more those layers are going to be smaller. And then when we get up here, it's going to be bigger. Now what I could do is add a bit of water, because we're going to be having some sheep in this meadow. And sheep like to be where there's a water source. So maybe I'll just go right in here with just pure blue and just put a little water source in here. It's dark. That's okay. Bring it right up here, and it can go right off the page. If that looks black to you, I promise you it is blue. Maybe it's black. It is black. Look at that. Well, that's okay. I'm going to cut it down a bit. And we'll just put the blue on top. That's not going to be a problem. Let it dry. And we'll get that taken care of. It's no big deal. Okay. It's a little tricky right here in that seam. All right, there's our water. Okay, I am going to rinse this out though. And we need to go back to some blue. Let that soak a minute. I'm going to grab the blue again. I'm going to put it right here, right in my green mixture. And I'm going to get some yellow. That's kind of a weird flying thing. We're going to have to do something different with that, I think. We will. And there's some yellow. And let's get that big brush. I'm giving it a good rinse. Okay, dry off the excess. And let's see if we've got a green here. We sure do. Okay. On to the last row here. One thing about acrylic paint, you can layer one on top of the other. And it will, if you have a good heavy body like this is, it'll cover. If you don't, you may need to use a couple of coats, and hopefully you didn't do black like I did, but if you did, it's all right. Okay. I think I'm going to put this up here like this. and fill her in. And we can still kind of fiddle with the edge once we get the blue for the water. And now we have rather a nice green meadow. Okay. Well done. Now I'm got brush strokes, so I'm gonna try not to have them go against each other. Now, I'm just not too nuts about the way that turned out. I'm going to add some yellow and barely get any of the blue. And I'm just gonna make this hill just a little bit different. I'm sticking my fingers in the mess. Okay. I think that gives us a little bit more of a demarcation here. What do you think? Okay. All right. I think I'm pretty much done working the edges. So I'm going to take the paper out. I'm going to put my brush in the water. And I think we can get rid of these. Just set them aside. Try not to get any paint on the carpet. That is still wet, so I'm not going to be adding the blue on top yet. But I'm liking this. I'm sticking my head in. I'm sorry, but I have some reflection going on, and I'm just trying to see what we've got. Yep, I think it's good. I think this could even be a little darker up front. I'm going to rinse out my brush. But it's still got some green in it, and I don't care. I am going to add a little bit of this black and mix it in. And just add a little bit of this to the bottom. Where can I touch it? I don't know if you can see a difference, but honestly, I can. I hope you can. It could even stand to be a touch darker. So I'm adding just a little more black into this mix. Okay. Good. All right. So we've got our meadow. When this dries just a little bit more, I'm going to turn that into blue. Now, for the next part of this, I'm going to add some flowers. And one of the things I forgot to tell you that I have here is some cotton buds. And I'm going to grab this red, and this one again is crimson, Naphthol crimson. And I'm just going to add the tiniest little dot, just like that. And then I'm going to put some white in there, and I'm going to make some pink. And I'm using a little brush, grabbing up some white, and I just want a pink. Okay. And I'm going to add in our meadow, just a little bit of like flowers. Can you see? Am I in an okay place? Okay. Real tiny little dots. Those are almost too big. Just like that. Yep. And then maybe some more. And now they're coming a little bit closer, so they're going to be just a little bit bigger. Just like that. Right off the page. All right, I like that. A little bit more maybe. Maybe some close to the water's edge, but I think I'll wait till I get the water in. And then maybe just a couple right here. A little bit bigger. Like that. And I don't know, these may end up getting covered up with some sheep. I'm not sure. Okay, let's see. That's good. Rinse my pink out. And I'm going to rescue my brushes that I had soaking out because they've been in there plenty long. If you leave wooden, especially wooden handle brushes, they can really cause trouble if they're left to soak a long, long time, because the wood will expand and it'll break your paint that's on them. Now, if you say, well, I've got plastic handle brushes. Yeah, well, even though the ferrules are crimped to hold the bristles in, there's also a glue, and that can also loosen up. So it's never a good idea to leave your brushes soaking a long time, unless you like to buy brushes often, which, hey, whatever you like. Okay. There's still some black going on, but I think we'll be okay. And I'm going to get some blue, and I'm going to put it right on the paper. No, I'm not. And I'll tell you why. I think I'm going to add some white to it because this blue is awfully dark. So I think I'm going to add just a little bit of white to it. I'm going to use this medium brush. Just grab a little of both here. And I'm just mixing it up over here. Yeah, that's good. Let's see what that does. Whoa, putting my finger in the grass. Where's a dry spot? See, I think that's plenty. And now, just gonna go over. And we're just making a little water spot. So I worked last night, but I'm just starting on my 4 days off. But I wanted to get a video in because I've got a couple of things going on. I'm going to go and believe it or not, I made an appointment in August and they could not get my car in till now. It'll be October. Today's October 1st. I'm not sure exactly when this video is going to come out, but right now it's October 1st. And I waited like a month and a half, 6 or 8 weeks to be able to get my car in. I'm just mixing up a little bit more of this blue. And that's lighter. Oh, but it picked up some of the black. I knew it wasn't quite dry. So yeah, that's going to be one day taking the car in, and then I don't know if I'll be able to wait for it or if they're going to give me a ride home. They have a shuttle, and I may not get my car back until the next day, which isn't a big deal, except when, the things I need to do, like get a few groceries and stuff. I'm just mixing up again a little bit more. Got another color again. That's all right. Okay, so we've got our water. And we've got our meadow, and it's got a few little flowers. It's looking good to me. Okay, let's rinse this off. Now for some sheep. Now the sheep are just going to be kind of a representation. We're not doing obviously anything like photojournalism, painting type stuff. It's going to be our little fantasy sheep. So I've got a couple of round brushes. This is that Liquitex #2 round with the long handle. Now sheep are white, but they're not really white. They're kind of a gray, beige, all kinds of colors. So I don't want to start out with just stark white. And the sheep will be smaller back here and bigger up here. So I'm going to start with the far away ones. And I'm going to take this white and I'm just going to add a touch of black. And you may not think that's enough, but trust me. Can you see the gray coming? It's enough. I'm going to add just a touch more. And there's our gray. And it'll come looking like white. So I'm going to start out with, a couple of small sheep way out here. They're not going to be much more than dots. A round sheep would be looking at us, and an oblong would be facing away from us. And we'll just put 3 little sheep way out there. We may not see a whole lot of details on them at all. And now, maybe in this area, some medium sheep. So I'm going to add a round one here. And maybe an oval. You can see I'm not doing anything precision. And the round ones can be either facing us or with their tail to us. Don't know till we get there. Another oval one. Sheep are in herds, so they like to be with their own kind, plus they're victims of predators, and so they like to stick together, keep an eye out for each other. Okay, now we're going to get some bigger sheep. We may even have a sheep right off the edge. Just like that. Yep. There. There's one. And then a pretty good size round one right here. Have you started an acrylic art journal? Mine's just a small one. It's a dialogue from Diane Reevely from Ranger. And it's kind of a traveler's journal type thing, but it's got some really good, I don't like to call it cardstock. It is similar to a cardstock, but it's really, really robust and ready to take a mixed media kind of feel to it. Okay, there's a big round one. Maybe another round one over here. Okay, I like that. Maybe sort of between the medium and the large. You know, between these and these. And then the other one maybe over here. Is it looking anything like sheep to you yet? Okay. I think we need another round one. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be picking up this blue or not, but if I did, not too bad. And there. Okay. Now, these sheep, and there's all kinds of varieties of sheep and all different colors and all that. Our sheep are going to have more black faces and black legs. We're not really going to see their feet. Yeah, this is looking good to me. Another one? I don't think so. Maybe way out in the back. Maybe this one you can just barely see because of that hill. Like that. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna, where I can see a lot of the meadow poking through, especially in the middle of the sheep's body, I'm gonna just dab a little more paint because we wouldn't be seeing the meadow through their body. Okay, now on the ones that are up close, I'm just rinsing this brush out good. I'm grabbing a cotton bud. And now I'm going to go in and I have just some white right here where I had touched it into the blue, but I really don't want blue. I just want the white, and I've got some of the white here where the gray is. And I'm just going to give them a few dots of fluff around the edge. I'm just dotting. And I'm putting a little more at the top because that's where the sun would maybe be hitting its back. I'm going to need some more white. Let me grab my white. And I'm just going to go right out of the tube. You can do this, right? I know you can. A little more. Giving this one even more. It's the closest up to us. Okay. And this guy. My cotton bud's kind of getting all goofy, but that's okay. And I'm just going to add a little to this one. Let's see if I can roll that in a little bit. Yep. These are too far away. I don't think we would see this kind of detail. Just bounce, bounce, bounce. Okay, good. All right, let's get the lid on this white. And I'm going to turn my cotton bud around. And do I have any just yellow that hasn't dried yet? That's dry. All right, let's get some yellow. I can even, well, I was going to say I can work out of the lid, but then I'd be setting the tube down where. I'm going to add some little yellow flowers. Real light touch. Add some more yellow flowers. And then maybe there's just some little yellow ones here, there. Not necessarily in a clump. These are closer, so I'm going to make them just a tiny bit bigger. Okay, I like those little yellow flowers. I think they look great. I'm just kind of wondering. I think, let me throw this away because I've used both ends of it. I think I'm going to grab just a real little brush. It's this little flat one. Doesn't have a number on it. I'm going into my gray and I'm going to add some little sheep way out. Way out. Like that. Alrighty. How are we doing? I think we're doing okay. I'm just wondering about another sheep. Good. Let's get that cotton bud, and I've got some white right here. A little more white. And there. Okay. All right. Now we're going to be adding, I'm going to be adding some little faces. No faces here. Very little faces here. That's pretty much just going to be a dot. Like that. And that. That's it. And that one might not even be facing this way. There. Okay. Now these are going to have just a little bit more. So I'm going to be, got some black right here, but it's trying to dry. So I'm just mixing it up a little bit. And these guys. This brush might even be too big. Or, you know, I can't really make a small point. So I'm just lifting the paint off of that brush and put it in the drink. I think I have a better chance with this brush to get just small. So I'm going to go for kind of like this for the ears, kind of like a little hill shape, and then a little triangle for a face. That's all I want. So let's see if I can do that. I hope you can see that. Just like that. Yep. Okay. And this one, we're only going to really kind of see the face and maybe one ear. And that's it. Now this one too, a tiny bit of leg. That's it. Okay. Now, what about this one? I think I'm going to put the face here. That's it. Not much detail. Not any detail, really. And another one. Maybe a couple of legs. Just dots. Okay. One last one over here. There. Okay. What do you think? What do you think of our little herd? Okay. Now, again, I'm just going to make that upside down U shape. Just like that. And then bring out kind of a triangle. A little bit more of legs. Like that. Okay. And this one, just a little ear and a little face. Yep, legs. Like that. This one, well, I think this one is going to have an ear and a face, and another ear kind of coming this way. And I think we'll see a little bit of this leg, more of this leg, and this leg. Like that. Okay. And this one. A little bigger on the ears. Feet. Okay. I'm going to add just a little more black. Okay. Let's see. Triangle face. I think the ears need to be bigger. Leg. Leg. Other leg. Okay. Maybe this one, all we see, I'm going to get some, I'm going to wait on that one. Let's get this one, and then I'm going to make a little gray, and we're just going to see the tail of that one. But let's put a face on this one. And I'm just going to put the little indication there of the tail. Their tails are just like, because their tails get cropped, so their tails are just like little poofs. All right, so I'm going to go in. I'm not cleaning my brush, but I'm just going into this little bit of gray that we've got. And I'm just going to make a little V-shaped tail right there. And then we can get the black and give it some legs. And there. What do you think? Good, huh? Okay. Now, this little water feature, I'm gonna just pick up, I'm picking up some more of that, what was our watercolor. Is this white still alive? Yeah. I'm gonna bring this out just a little. It just seemed kind of abrupt. Yeah, I like that better. Now I think the grass would be showing up a little bit in front of that green. I mean, in front of the water. So I'm going to go into the green and I'm just going to tap a little edge so that it kind of pushes that back just a little bit. Let's clip this down. Too much bouncing. Too much bouncing. There. Okay. Still bouncing. Well, I think I'm making the bouncing worse. I think this is going to help so that the water looks more like it's into the grass instead of plopped on top. I seem to be hitting a dry spot in the grass. There we go. All right, let's get just a little more paint going here. And now I'm dropping that in. I want a scraper. What do I want? Usually I use like a credit card kind of a thing. And I've got a piece right here. Let's get a scissor. And I'm just going to cut a corner off of this plasticky thing. And I'm going to just scrape up some little grasses. Right? Scraping through that paint. And sometimes it shows and sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't matter. I'm just adding some grasses. There. Yep. That's good. That's very good. Good. Okay, now, last thing. I'm grabbing my little white gel pen. Now, sheep have dark eyes, but I think, I'm just getting my pen started here. I think we might sometimes see just a little shine, and we may not always see their eyes at all, but I'm just gonna, it's just like the eye is shining, like that. And maybe this one, like that. Now, these are awfully far away. Might see a little shine. And the rest, I don't think we would see anything. Okay. So here's our little sheep. Let me know what you think. I think they're sweet. I think it makes a nice little page. I'm going to grab a Sharpie, sign. I hope that you found this helpful, educational, maybe just fun. I'd love to know in the comments if you're going to give it a try. So please consider subscribing. I need subscribers. Please consider subscribing. Hit the like button. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.